Before we dive in, viewer discretion is advised. This content is for entertainment. What unfolds when a titan of Hollywood, a man synonymous with cinematic greatness, sits down for a routine interview, only to be ambushed by a host determined to ignite a personal war on live television? Prepare yourself because you are about to witness one of the most volatile broadcast moments in modern history, where the legendary Al Pacino was pushed into a fiery exchange that culminated in him abandoning the set mid-air. But before we pull back the curtain on this shocking confrontation, be sure to join our community by hitting that subscribe button and weigh in below. What are your thoughts on celebrity interviews gone wrong? Believe me, this is a story you need to see to believe because the drama that plays out is absolutely staggering. It was meant to be a standard promotional stop on The View for Al Pacino, the icon behind The Godfather, Scarface, and a lifetime of other masterpieces. He was there to discuss his newest film. Now in his 80s, the veteran actor was a figure defined by his fierce passion, but equally by his unwavering professionalism. Having navigated thousands of interviews across a career spanning decades, he moved between profound cinematic discourse and light-hearted talk show banter with an effortless grace. But on this specific morning, the air in the studio was charged with something else, something different from the second he stepped on stage. The typical pre-show pleasantries felt hollow, and a sharp undercurrent of tension and invisible friction put the seasoned actor on immediate alert. Joy Behar, co-host of The View, infamous for her biting wit and political jabs, had seemingly decided this interview would be anything but typical. Her agenda was clear from the very first volley. "So, Al," Joy began, leaning in with a smile that was more predatory than pleasant. "Let's get to your new film. But before that, I have to ask about your past. Looking back, do you carry any regret for glorifying such violence in films like Scarface? I mean, shouldn't Hollywood bear some responsibility to our society?" Pacino, visibly blindsided by the aggressive opening salvo, took a beat. His eyes narrowed almost imperceptibly, a signal of coiled intensity that any fan of his work would instantly recognize. "Well, Joy, I think that's a rather heavily weighted question to lead with," he countered, his voice steady, but laced with steel. "My belief has always been that cinema is an exploration of the human condition. Its darkness included. We are storytellers, not moral guardians. But you must see how these portrayals affect young, impressionable minds." Joy shot back, completely steamrolling his articulate defense. "Think about how many kids wanted to be Tony Montana. Don't you feel even a sliver of accountability for that?" A wave of discomfort washed over the other hosts. Their uneasy glances said it all. This was not the interview anyone had signed up for. Certainly not from the opening bell. Whoopi Goldberg tried to steer the conversation to safer waters, asking about his acting methods, but Joy sliced through her attempt. No, let the man answer," Joy insisted, dismissing her colleague with a flick of her hand. "This is important, Al. You've earned millions from these violent roles. Don't you believe you owe the public an explanation?" Pacino's jaw locked. "I owe the public nothing but an honest performance," he stated, his legendary intensity finally beginning to surface. "Every character I've inhabited, I've done so with absolute respect and dedication. If you wish to have a philosophical discussion on art and its societal impact, I am more than willing. But let's not pretend this is that." "And what do you mean by that?" Joy parried, her voice climbing in pitch. "I mean," Pacino replied, his tone now sharp and direct, "that you seem far more invested in manufacturing a conflict than in having a genuine conversation. I've been in this industry. Every soul I have ever portrayed faced a reckoning. Every story carried weight. If your eyes can't see that, then you have no grasp of what you're even discussing. Don't you dare stand there and lecture me about understanding," Joy retorted, her finger jabbing the air in his direction. "I've been on the front lines of real-world events while you've been playing make-believe for a paycheck. I know what real consequence is, too. And I know that films like yours feed into it." The other hosts were now in a frantic, silent scramble to regain control. Tsunami host made a desperate play, trying to pivot with a question about his craft, but Joy sliced through her attempt. "We are having a vital conversation here," Joy declared, her gaze locked on Pacino like a predator. This is precisely the kind of reckoning that needs to happen with the Hollywood elite who believe they are beyond reproach. Beyond reproach, Pacino's voice now held a low, dangerous hum. I have faced scrutiny my entire career, and I have grown from it. But there is a universe of difference between honest critique and whatever this is. You walked onto this set with a verdict already decided, and you have no interest in a single word I have to say. My only verdict is holding powerful men accountable, Joy proclaimed. Her words delivered not as conversation but as a courthouse speech, a practice that is clearly foreign in your world. My world. Pacino leaned forward, his body tensing, his knuckles white as he gripped the chair. You know nothing of my world. You know nothing of the years of grit, the absolute devotion to the art, the deep respect I hold for this craft and for the people who watch. You painted a picture of me before I even parted my lips. I painted it based on 50 years of your films, Joy fired back, her words like bullets. And the portrait I see is of a man who built a fortune by romanticizing everything that is fractured about masculinity in this nation. An absolute chilling silence fell over the studio, broken only by the whisper-soft clicks of the cameras. The crew themselves were frozen, witnessing an on-air demolition of a living legend. Pacino just shook his head slowly, and when he finally spoke, his voice was a low growl, seething with a fury he barely restrained. You know, Joy, in all my time in this industry, I've encountered all kinds. The good, the bad, the ones just trying to get by. But I have seldom met anyone so utterly consumed with the need to dismantle another person for the sake of their own self-importance. My self-importance. A slight tremor entered Joy's voice. A crack in the facade, but she pushed onward. This has nothing to do with me. This is about accountability, a concept your generation seems to fundamentally misunderstand. My generation, a fire ignited in Pacino's eyes. My generation forged the very industry that provides you with this stage. We told the stories. We shouldered the risks. We cut the path for every single person who followed. And you have the audacity to lecture me about accountability. Yes, I do, Joy stated, her chin held high in defiance. Because it's necessary. Someone has to pose the challenging questions that every other Hollywood journalist is too stark to even formulate. Challenging questions. Pacino let out a laugh, but it was a cold, empty sound devoid of any humor. You believe an ambush filled with wild baseless claims that I am somehow responsible for the world's ills is a challenging question. That isn't journalism, Joy. That's just cruelty for sport. Alyssa Farah Griffin tried to throw a lifeline, attempting one more time to interject with a comment about his charity work, but Joy was a storm that could not be redirected. Don't you dare change the subject. She snapped at her co-host, her focus immediately snapping back to Pacino. We are discussing the cultural footprint of violent media and I demand to know why Al Pacino believes he's exempt from that conversation. I don't want to be exempt, Pacino saw.